Hi, I'm Dr. Raquel Butler and this is Chance, and we're going to show you a few pointers on how to fit your saddle correctly so that your horse and you can be happy riding. So when you first put the saddle on, the most important thing is your positioning. Oh boy. So when you sit your saddle on, you want it to be 2.5 fingers behind the back of the shoulder blade, which is just here, and you want the gullet plate, not the front of the saddle, the gullet, to sit 2.5 fingers behind the back of the scapula. So you sitting this saddle about there is correct for him. A lot of people sit it up on their shoulders, and then that impedes the scapula from moving correctly. The other important thing is that your saddle is balanced in the centre of the seat. So if your saddle easily tips forward, then it's not fitting correctly, and obviously if it tips back, then it's not fitting correctly either. So you shouldn't be able to move your saddle around easily if it's fitting your horse correctly. So when it comes to girthing up the horse, some horses will have a different girth point of where the girth actually wants to sit. And so this may create a problem in fitting your saddle because the girth may want to sit here, but the saddle needs to sit a little bit further back. So when you have the girth done up, then you can feel for the evenness of the panels underneath the saddle. So it should be even running down behind the horse's shoulder blade, and it should be even all the way along their back, so there shouldn't be any space underneath, no bridging, as this will create an uneven pattern of sweat on the horse's back, and so you'll end up with pressure points. The other important thing is that after you've ridden, it's important to have a look at your sweat patterns on your saddle blanket and on the horse's back. These should be even, and if there is a dry patch or uneven on both sides, so you might have sweating on this side and not the same on that side, then it's showing that there's a problem with your saddle fit. And the other thing is that it's important for you to hop on when you're checking your saddle, so that you can check the evenness of the panels and make sure that there's no kind of rocking movement. So there shouldn't be anything like that, as this kind of rocking movement is going to cause a problem in the back of the horse's shoulder blades when you're on there and riding. So the other thing to take into account when you're fitting your saddle is padding. So if you have a thick saddle blanket, then that is going to change the fit of your saddle. Therapeutic pads can be beneficial, especially with horses with weak backs, but you do have to take this into account again when fitting the saddle. So the most important thing with any saddle blankets or pads is that you pull them up at the front so that there's no pressure on the wither. And these should stay in place when fitted correctly. The importance of having your saddle fitting correctly is that if it's too narrow, then it applies vice-like pressure into these muscles beside the wither. This is a very important area, as we have nerves coming out of the spine from here, and so if you have a lot of pressure on these areas, you'll cause muscle atrophy and affect the nerves coming out from the wither. If the saddle is too wide, then you'll also be creating a problem, and that is potentially worse because you're having it putting the pressure right down on the spine. And the pressure that it causes on the spine will create thickening, pain, and a lot of problems down the track. So it is very important that your saddle is neither too wide nor too narrow to benefit the health of your horse and the longevity of your horse.